Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, one of my favorite movies um, is the movie The Craft. If anybody had ever really watched that movie, and that movie was one of the reasons why there was the whole um, Goths and Wiccans that came in at that out of the woodwork back in the late 90s and early odds, even though there were like Goths and Wiccans even before the movie. So, anyways, um, not that I really wanted to go into detail about the movie, but in a way, it's something that was said many times was like that Wiccans call it spells, Christians call it prayers, atheists call it quantum physics, but it's still the same thing when it comes to manifesting and all that. Yeah. So, anyways, considering all of that, um, when it came to the movie, you know, it was just that it was just more of a precaution of that be careful what you wish for because you might get it. And in a way, when it came to manifesting a specific person, that you also have to be careful as far as what you're trying to, I mean, not trying to manifest, but actually manifest in some ways. You know, when it comes to manifesting a specific person in that sense, because there was so many of like these manifestation coaches, whether it was Robert Zang or Veronica Isles or Sammy Ingram and maybe a couple of other ones that, you know, just to name a few, but they always have the sort of precaution of the fact that you get like this specific person that is obsessed with you in a negative way when you do that. You know? So, considering all of that, you know, there's one of the things that I had to say. It is also about like that the belief that it works. You know, that's really what the whole basis of it, in a way. But it reminded me of this other movie. It was kind of a B movie in the 90s. It was called Surf Ninjas, and there was this one character. I keep forgetting his name. I think that was Pauly Shore, I think. But you know, and early on in the film, where he would say, "What if blank," and somehow it came true. And at one point, he ended up saying like, "What if I lose my power?" And then all of a sudden, he lost his power. And it was one of those little things that happened there that if he just didn't say that, you know, he probably would have kept, you know, that power of what if. Yeah. So that was just one of the biggest things that, again, where you have to be careful when it comes to manifesting a specific person of that sort. Yeah. And it was one of the things, again, where um, when it comes to like the 3D, because the 3D is your mirror. It is like the sandbox, you know, the blank canvas or whatever you would call it in that sense. That is just like that. Especially if there are people who are the more artistic types, like myself, that where it's like a blank sheet a musical score is one thing, or just that lump of clay, and then you have that power to make that lump of clay be anything that you want, or when it comes to like the blank canvas, when it comes to like with all like the different mediums necessary, whether it's like pencil or paint or pastel sticks and whatnot, or crayons. Yeah. So, considering all of that, I mean, that is one of the reasons why I say that when it comes to manifesting, that you're the one that has the power to manifest anything that you want, anything or everything at that point. And there's really no limits on when it comes to that. When it comes to like the specific person, because like even if they're not interested in you, even if that was like the case, because people do change. How many times when it comes to people, when you kind of no longer put that person on a pedestal and all of that, when they're like crushing on it so much, and then we're like, I'm over that person, and all of a sudden that person just chases you to no end. And that's kind of like the thing, when you step into that magnetic resonance, or whatever you would call it, and then it's one of those little things where when you feel like you're magnetic, and then you can get any of these sort of people that you want, as far as that goes. But in a way, when it comes to like another technique was also remote seduction and all that, because you can do that with that specific person and all that. Because after all, we're all adults here, and we could also do like any of these type of visualizations and state akin to sleep, affirmations and scripting and all that. Be as dirty as we want to be, So that is like one of the things here. So, anyways, I guess that's for every bit. So, talk to you guys later.